What's up guys, my name is XANAA. These are going to be 5 features I hope to see in this year's Formula 1 games. I'm a massive fan of the Formula 1 games. I've been playing them for quite some time, 2010 back in the day, and I'm a massive fan. I've been playing these games for a while. There's a lot I want to talk about, so sit back, relax, and let's talk about it.
So in no particular order, one, I really want a calendar editor for just the vanilla career mode, one-player career mode. At the moment, it's locked behind a multiplayer career save file only, but it's just not a feature available for single-player career mode, where, and what most people will probably be checking out, even if it's like a My Team or just a driver career mode. At the moment, the only way to really get a custom calendar for your career is if you used mods. There's a lot of tools available, and luckily Cody's and EA are very chill about that sort of stuff, but still, this is a function that should just be in the base game already. I should have the ability to just have, I don't know, Monaco is the first Grand Prix, and when I then, Monaco first and then like Brazil or something as just any sort of example to throw out this. I think we should also bring back the alt layout tracks, because we had like shorter Grand Prix layouts in F1 2020, I think, where you had like a shorter Bahrain track, like a shorter Silverstone, a shorter Barcelona, a shorter Japan circuit, club circuits if you will. Why not be able to race on them? Why were they just randomly removed? And on top of that, I want extra tracks added. I think F1 24 only included Portimao, I think. I don't really play these newer games anymore since F1 2020, because they've only gotten worse and worse. I think in F1 2023 you had like, you had the French Grand Prix and you had the Portuguese Grand Prix, and those were the only two added extra tracks in the game, which I think is crazy. Why not just add many different ones? Especially when COVID hit, I was expecting like a bunch of those different tracks featured in the game, like a bunch of new ones, and they just didn't do it. We didn't get Turkey, we didn't get the Nürburgring. They could easily bring back Hockenheimring, that was in F1 2019. I think it would just need a bit of upscaling, maybe. They could bring back Hanoi for no reason. Russia, the French Grand Prix, Portimao. Sell them as DLC if you have to. Just anyone. Why not just add more tracks to the game? Like, you know, it's a video game, it doesn't have to make sense. And on the topic of a custom calendar editor, I really want there to be a slider between the tracks we can pick every season. Between 8 and 24 is fine if an official FIA grade World Championship has to consist of 8 Grand Prix. Then have the limit be 8 and the maximum be 24 if for just to throw any example at this argument. Like, please just add these features. We're dying to get them. They're basic features. You know, seeing something like Kuala Lumpur return, or Turkey, or Monaco at night, for example. Just go completely bonkers with it. It's a video game. It doesn't have to make sense. Next feature I'd like to see added is a livery editor. Just something basic that every racing game ever has. Like something like how it is in Forza or Gran Turismo, or just anything really. And I know that they love making their own little liveries. They have like a battle pass, a race pass, where you can earn custom liveries that Cody's have made for you, but you should just make a livery editor for people who will go absolutely bonkers and spend hours and hours of time making a custom car livery. And then, I don't know, have a little shop where people can upload it and submit it to, and people can download it. I don't understand what the excuse is. There is many different things you can do with your podium pass or whatever it's called. You can lock custom, collectibles behind it, or character victory animations or something, or I don't know, I'm pretty sure you can do something more creative with a podium pass than to lock liveries and helmets and gloves behind it and stuff. I think it's ridiculous. You should just be able to customize all of that to your own liking. So alongside of that, that sort of goes hand in hand together with a car customizer editor, a livery editor, car customization in the sense of we should have like 5 different FOM cars we can pick from in my team. If we want to make our own team, we should be able to just do everything how we want it to. It makes sense that if you upgrade your car, you see like a visual upgrade, you see like a visual change, but Formula 1 just never has anything like that. So the 1% roleplay aspect of me, if I were to ever do like an F1 series on my channel, well, visual customization, you know, why can I not have a Williams front wing, a McLaren flexi wing with like a Ferrari rear wing, for example? Not like literally, you know, as a livery I would change all of it, but you know, why wouldn't, who's stopping me from mixing and matching? Like, why is that just not a thing I could do? And change like the width or how wide I want it to be, or you know, have it just be entirely cosmetic. It doesn't have to really be a mechanic in game. You know, you've got your upgrading system in the game. That's another thing that I do want them to change. I want them to go back to the upgrade tree and add like a little fog of war to it, so you cannot see what's next, what upgrade is to come. I think that's a, you know, upgrade from what we have now, where I think it's just a bunch of boxes and you select them. But yeah, just add a livery editor. There's a lot of stuff you can do with your Pantsy podium pass. Add rims. If you can't do it, get some. You are owned and backed by EA. I'm pretty sure they can send some people from Criterion who work on Need for Speed over to give you like extra different options. You know, I should be able to pick between 10 different Halos, or just stylize them. Like it can just all be cosmetic. You're always looking at your car, so why not change it to however you please? Side pods you can change. Like the flooring, maybe even helmets to your liking. Like, you know, there should be a helmet editor, just exactly how you like it in different finishes. I think it's a basic, simple request that they've just sort of looked away from deliberately. And if they're concerned about a podium pass that doesn't really make them a lot of money, just sell us more DLC. Sell us additional classic cars as DLC that you've also taken away from these games for no apparent reason. The next off, I'd like to see a character editor added in the game. Again, it's just something like one of the first things you probably see when you start the game, and if you went into like a My Team sort of career, I guess. A character editor. I mean, again, you're backed by EA. They own what, FIFA Manager or whatever it's called, FIFA something, FIFA 25, Football Club, Football Game 25, PES, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure EA, they own a football game where you have like a character editor. Why can't you not just port that over to the F1 game? You're backed by EA, surely they can be responsible for sending some people over and implementing like a more simplistic character editor in like, with what I mean by this is like an actual, I mean, EA, they also own The Sims. Why don't they just get people over from The Sims to add like a character customization tool where you can make your own guy? You want to see yourself on that top step, don't you? Like winning every possible imaginable race. Like, you don't want one of like 24 different default designs to win it for you, right? You'd want to win and like be able to recognize like, hey, that's my fucking guy, I made that character. And along with that, like obviously the age, the height, their voice. I mean, if you're gonna have like celebration animations, and when you pass the finish line, you're gonna hear your guy say like, "Woo, yeah, we fucking did it," or whatever. Having that done in different voice tones, it just makes sense. I think they should just expand upon this immediately and just feature it in every possible game, and then immediately you've made a better game than you have done the past 4 years. So for this point, I wrote down more immersion. If you sign to like Ferrari, you don't see like your name on your race suit or anything, or number or anything. You don't really feel like, you end up feeling more like a test driver maybe, which sucks. You can have your own personal number on the car, but you don't see your own name on the overalls or on the car ever. It doesn't really feel like, it's proper, it's official, it's real. It's not real, it's a video game, but make it feel as real as possible. It bugged the shit out of me. It's bugged the shit out of me for as long as I've been playing these games. I've been playing F1 games since F1 2012. I remember in F1 2017, at some point, they had to have shark wings. And so every team, you get your own driver number now, and a name and a display name for when you're racing. But that's about it. You don't actually ever see your name anywhere on the car. And it drove me crazy how you would see signs. You'd see signs, the most noticeable lettering imaginable, but then if you sign for Toro Rosso, you never get to see your name there, and it just doesn't make any sense. Why? What was it that difficult to? The game asks you for 3 initials to use when you're watching replays. It's just like, could you have not just used those initials and implement the same coding as you've done for the driver numbering, and then just locate it somewhere on the car? There should be Heineken sponsoring on the tracks and on the cars, featuring these logos. I think they'd have to bump the age rating for the game, but I think that's more down to the age rating needing an overhaul. I think a kid would understand, like, oh, it's just sponsoring. It doesn't really... And it's a video game, it's not real. And lastly, I just think the reputation meter needs an overhaul. It's great how you have like driver objectives during the races now. Your race engineer will tell you to like overtake him or the opponent in front of you within like 3 laps. And then you get like a additional little bit of R&D, like a bit of research and development points. And I thought, why not just one-up that idea? What if you had like some sort of reputation meter amongst every driver in the game? Every driver, every bit of team personnel staff, your manager, your team principal, your teammates. Say for example you make a clean pass on track. During the race you'll earn a bit of R&D, but after the race you'll get a little cutscene with whoever you overtook. Say for example it's Magnussen, you overtook Magnussen, and it's a clean overtake, no contact whatsoever. And then towards the end of the race, you get like a little cutscene with him, with K-Mag, and he'll tell you like, nice to see you, we had a good scrap, good racing, and he'll just walk off. It's sort of a nothing cutscene, but your reputation amongst the paddock and amongst him will increase. And I guess he'll treat you with a bit more respect on track or whatever. But another instance could be, you have like Verstappen, he's lapping you and you don't get out of the way. Instead you accidentally collide with him, and then after the race he'll approach you, he'll be all pissed off and stuff. He'll be next to Verstappen, he'll be pissed, he'll think you're a pussy or whatever, and you can either own up to him, like say like, I'm sorry, I messed up, or you double down, you go like, nah, you're a twat, you need to watch where you're going. And then after that you get like an interview with whoever. The interviews are not really great additions to the game. I think those need an overhaul, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Say for example you're in an interview, and then the interviewer will ask you like, hey, any comments on that collision with Verstappen? But say for example you get interviewed and the interviewer will ask you about the collision with Verstappen, and instead you own up to your own mistakes, then you'll get a bit of credibility, and in the next race you'll get like a cutscene with Verstappen, and he'll be like, oh, I saw your interview and I looked at the replays and it's just a mistake from us both. So that way you can sort of rekindle your reputation with him. Instead of all of it sort of plummeting down, you get to save some of it, which I think could be a really cool mechanic they sort of did in F1 24. Not completely how I'd imagine it, because I think we need to just get more driver cutscenes as well. I think we need more personality within these games. I think the game should be more personalized to where, for example, you start out in like a Williams and say have a lot of like respectful racing together with Lando or something, and then you get like a random, I don't know, like driver activity or something you could do. Like you could drive like classic cars together with him or something. I don't know, just anything. The teams are also doing like challenges in every in each year we have Formula 1 now. Sometimes it will be them like doing beer pong or whatever, and they have to answer a question that's embarrassing or whatever. I don't know, I shouldn't be coming up with ideas for EA to make their games better, but just something like a lot of different unique driver activities. Just have darts, golf, I don't know, walking around someplace. These could be maybe online game modes that people could play competitive against each other, separate from the career mode, and maybe earn pit coins that way. And all of this increases like your overall rep throughout your personal career mode. It's just something maybe to make it more human, I guess. I don't know. To give it like more identity. So those were 5 features I really want in the F1 games. Something that I don't necessarily expect, but it would drastically improve the game's overall playability, and I think just it'd be better. It'd be a much better game. They can easily turn it into a much better game, so I think they should. So that being said, those are 5 features I really want into the game, and now I'm going to talk about stuff I wish to see. And then next I have some other minor features I hope they'll add. Like I said earlier, I think they'll be late into the game's development cycle, but these shouldn't really be features that I'd imagine are impossible to bring over to the game. I think the paddock needs an overhaul. I think there needs to be this paddock you can walk from A to B to, or you can skip it, just immediately fast travel to garage. You could do something like that. But you can also walk around the paddock and you might find someone else who's playing online who you can talk to and I guess join their race if they happen to be doing an online race. Or you can talk to like, I don't know, random people who are standing on the paddock, and you can increase your reputation with them that way. Say for example you're just walking around, you are in like a Williams or whatever, and say for instance you bump into like Christian Horner and you can talk to him, a bit of chit chat, and then your reputation with him will go up. And that might lead to like a Red Bull drive at some point. You know, they might lose a driver, and then the game will be like, oh, you have a bit of reputation. They want to see you, they want to talk to you and stuff. And then you can have that like contract period, I guess. I think that the game should definitely just be more personalized from person to person. I think that everyone should be experiencing like unique interactions. There has to be at least someone who has a career mode save file where Albon just happens to be completely OP in a Williams for no reason. You know, I think that contracts should definitely be given an overhaul. Now especially now since we have like 6 different rookies on the grid now, I think it should, you know, there's so much potential for crazy, hard, soft-coded driver swaps. You can play around with your game infinitely, and they're just not doing it. I think a great example, what they could have done last year, is in a F1 24 save file, sort of hard-code, soft-coded in a way where at some point in the season, you might see Hamilton walking around with like a bunch of I don't know, Ferrari staff around him, or you might see him in like Monaco or something. He might be walking around and you see like a bunch of like Ferrari businessmen surrounding him. You know, it could. What does it mean? What would it likely lead up to? Well, you know, then in the next season, obviously he's at Ferrari. Like, you can infinitely personalize someone's playthrough in such a way like this. Maybe a different example could be like you see Yuki hanging around with like a lot of Aston Martin staff or something, because he's finally gotten out of that Red Bull academy. He's finally going to some other team. You see him hanging around talking to Aston Martin personnel, and in like, I don't know, a press or something, you might be able to catch a glimpse of that. But my point just being, you know, do something cool with your game, personalize it further, make it something crazy. They've also only gotten less crazy with the driver swaps as the games have gone on. I remember them being crazy, absolutely bonkers, and then in F1 24, it's like the most dull driver transfers imaginable ever. There needs to be a slider to which you can adjust how crazy you'd want that to be, and maybe how realistic that possibly could be. It would make sense that maybe by Tsunoda achieving like top 5 finishers or whatever, he might get hard-coded to be promoted to Red Bull. Same with Hadjar. You know, it would make sense that these drivers could be soft-coded or hard-coded to a Red Bull promotion, and it might just be that, well, one of the Red Bull drivers is really struggling, so that driver swap would make sense. Why would it just not be a feature? I think it'd be really cool to do something like this. So like I said with the paddock, again, sort of going hand in hand with that, the press needs to be updated, the interviews. I don't really like the questions that get asked. They're the same questions that have been asked since like 2018, I think it is. You'll have a collision with someone, and then that might be the only thing the interviewer will ask you about. Like, it seemed like it was slippery out there. Were you struggling for grip? How would you make of Sainz's race today? And it's just like, what? He came in like 11th. Why are you asking me about what Sainz did? And it's like the same questions, like same, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 different questions, and they'll get all cycled through one another, and it's completely circumstantial which ones you get, but you'll quickly run into the same ones over and over. So I think interviews just need a complete overhaul, just completely have different people doing the interviews. I'd love to see Mark Webber, you know, with a microphone, and he'll be like, oh, what was it like today? That's not an Aussie accent, but you know, it'll be him talking to you instead. You know, I think there should be more, maybe not cutscenes, but definitely like little interactions where you can, you know, not to the point where it's almost like a telltale game. Maybe go in more that direction, because it does give you some personality. It'd be awesome to see like Jenson Button, and you win your race, and then you see like it'll be Jenson Button giving you like a small little interview, like, how was it? Did everything go according to plan? What was it like during the second phase of I don't know, just more human questions and personalization to it. I don't know, just, you want to make the greatest game ever, right? What's stopping you? I also wrote down graphics. I wish the graphics would look a little better. I think the car models look great. A lot of the tracks look really great. The lighting, shadows, all of that good stuff. I'm not a massive graphics slut. I usually do not care about it whatsoever. But I think the player models, they just look a little too plasticky, and I hope that they'll make them look better at some point. And that's it. Just, that's the wish. And then lastly, I think the classic cars need a return. Have them be something you can buy in-game, or something you unlock something you need to win, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Just have them back in the game. I don't know why they were removed. And maybe you could use them for like a driver parade or a grid walk or something like that. I think a grid walk would also be quite cool to see. Maybe that way you could again interact with people, get your reputation up, see what the track is, have it be a cutscene or whatever, like have it be something you can skip if you really don't want to see it. But it all blends together a better immersion of, I guess, what these games could be, because that's what the drivers go through. The drivers go through like a driver parade, a grid walk, a lot of press, a paddock they have to deal with, you know, lots of other people, and all the boring stuff gets cut out. But it's a racing game. It's about racing. That's what it's about ultimately. But it's about Formula 1, so why not make it resemble that experience as close as possible? And maybe like a driver, have these be things we can maybe interact with in some way, shape or form. Maybe in a driver parade around Spa-Francorchamps, you could be the driver, for example, and you're driving, I don't know, Hamilton around in a 250 GTO or whatever with an open top. The car is the open roof is what I'm referring to. Just something like that, just to give some sort of little form of life to these games, I guess. Because I feel like that's just what these have been missing. It was awesome to see like EA sort of be involved with F1, because to me it meant, oh, they're going to have a higher funding, they're going to make the games better. And they sort of really have not. They've made them worse in some areas. They've made the AI computer players, they've made them worse. They've become more glitchier, the F1 games. The newer they've gotten, surprisingly enough. Maybe they just don't proof test this game enough or something. But often or not, there will be audio glitches and like just complete fucked up game errors. I just think it's time to reflect and, you know, let's create something better is what I'm hoping for. And yeah.
And that's basically it. I really love Formula 1. I'm excited that the new season is starting. I hope to get this out as soon as the Australian Grand Prix starts. Probably going to be a few days late, knowing myself. And yeah, thoughts, feelings. Send this video to Cody's. I hope they can craft something cool. I really love Formula 1, and I've played the games for a long ass time, and it honestly kind of sucks because I stopped playing them. I stopped really loving them, to be honest. They got repetitive. It's a racing game. You know, it's really hard as a racing game fan to say a racing game isn't repetitive. But for these games, I feel like the magic has sort of faded away for maybe a lot of people. I really hope they can make something cool. And comment down below what features you would add to these F1 games. Can be anything, just functions, features, key feature, I don't know, just anything really. Just, you know, it can be anything. Whatever it is, what you would add to the game, comment down below, and I hope to make a follow-up video about this at some point. And I do really hope that maybe you can send this to Cody's if something crazy happens, and you know, they'll do some stuff about it and hopefully make a somewhat better game to what we have now. I was really expecting EA to sort of improve these F1 games now that they have like a solid funding, but they've really not done anything. So that's going to be it. One last thing, I'm going to go over my top 5 predictions for the Formula 1's F1 25 season. I'd figure just a quick little section I could do this in without making an entire video about it. So there are gonna be four predictions, 3.5 predictions. So one is gonna be, I think Lambda is gonna be world champion. Probably, he's probably gonna be world champion. I think probably. I think 6 drivers will get a race win at some point. We'll have 6 different race winners. I think only 6. I predict Williams are going to be good. I think that they'll be quite good. I really want them to be good, so I hope they'll be good. And I guess as a quick bonus prediction, I hope Hamilton gets a race win amongst those 6 drivers. So that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.